The book, Joyfully Together, Keys to Enjoying Your Relationship, provides insight on how singles, engaged and married couples can deal with basic relationship issues that arise.
Well, the book equips readers to have a more delightful, stable, and long-lasting relationship or marriage. And joining us now is the author of the book, Reverend Helen Oritsejafor, who's been married for over 2 decades to Papa Ayo Oritsejafor of Word of Life Bible Church. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to everyone.
Interesting that we're having this conversation,
Yes.
but let me begin by asking you, do you think that it is increasingly becoming, or it is becoming increasingly difficult to have a healthy relationship in our climate, in Nigeria in particular?
Yes, I think I'll submit to that objection. Truly, it's something that I don't want to call it epidemic, but it is, it's prevalent. And what is even more painful to me, as a matter of fact, is that it isn't only just being divorced, but then having to live in marriage painfully. And quite a lot of people are going through that. So instead of enjoying marriage, they're enduring marriage. But it shouldn't be like that. And that's the whole essence of actually putting this book together is to change the narrative.
And let me just ask you, because you are a wife of a pastor.
Yes.
And do churches encourage divorce? Because you talk
definitely.
about enduring the marriages, but we hear these women say, my pastor says God hates divorce. I should just, endure. And so they stay in these marriages. Is the church not playing a role in people enduring those marriages?
Wait a minute. We don't approve divorce, and I'm not here to advocate for that. I think what I'm more interested in is to see how we can come up with all the guiding principles that will enable all these marriages to be well sustainable, enjoying. Because, why would God put 2 people together? If not for them to be able to have communion, to be able to have fellowship with one another, to be able to enjoy each other, to be able to partner with each other. And then, of course, besides progression and everything else. But I think what has been missing all along is that 2 people meet each other, they're excited, and they just hop themselves to the altar and get a priest to bless them, and then have, just go on like that, without proper preparation. The greatest challenge is that people actually prepare for wedding, but they never prepared for marriage, which is supposed to be everlasting.
Prepare for wedding, but they don't prepare for marriage.
Yes.
But a lot of people will say, to a very large extent, that maybe the economy has something to do with all of this.
Yes, you can't rule out finances.
The finance. There's a big saying, there are no romance without finance. But is it increasing that the issue of finance is strong? Because we've had a lot of people say, oh, if he's not doing well financially, I can't marry. If she's not doing well, I can't marry her. Well, what about that angle? How do they deal with that? A man that doesn't have a job in the last 5, 10 years, and the woman really loves him, but love doesn't pay the bills.
Love doesn't pay the bills, that's true. But that I think if there is understanding, for example, if for any reason you're married to one that hasn't a job yet, or perhaps had one but lost it, and then you're not faced with being able to take care of the home front alone as a woman or as a man, I think what needs to come into bear here is for them to have a quick talk on money management. Okay, they need to sit and train themselves on how to maintain, the values of their marital vows without having, to get themselves into unnecessary treasure.
But the truth is, despite the money talk and everything, because I've talked to I don't want to say thousands, but via the telephone, I have talked to thousands of them. Yeah, I can say that, via the telephone, over many years in Lagos.
Okay.
And one decima I keep hearing, one recurring decima, is once I lost my job, it was all over. Because I couldn't pay my bills, she will not come back. She started to disrespect me.
The foundation in itself is wrong.
The foundation was good in this case.
No. The reason why I would have to refer to the foundation. Because you see, if you don't get it right at the very beginning, they're going to end up badly. at the end of the day. If the foundation is built on material things like, oh, okay, he has money or what have you, or even she's beautiful, and then forgetting that nature was certain. A lot of factors. Yes, I'm not saying that you shouldn't think about your future living comfortably and all that, but that can be done in a different way entirely. And that's where you allow me to quickly say this. Yeah. Number one, with your preparation, it means that you have to be emotionally prepared, physically prepared, spiritually prepared. You have to be able to communicate, because that's the greatest challenge. It might, for example, with just what you have just, the picture you painted a while ago, saying that the lady became rude because the man lost his job. Now, if you dig deeper, you would discover that it isn't because the woman wanted to be rude. It's possible, but that the man finds it difficult to understand and appreciate the fact that he is no longer the one bringing the money, but the woman. So every action could be misconstrued. You know, and that's where communication sets in. You know, in Nigeria, in Africa, as a matter of fact, you know, when it has to do with communication, it's a different thing entirely. People don't know how to sit down and talk. When you ask a man, how was your day? You know, and who did you meet? He will say people. But if you ask a woman, how was your day? They say, oh, fantastic. Who did you meet? Oh, I met Janet on my way to the office. Oh, my boss was this and that. So that's it. But we have to be able to come to a place where we can actually iron a lot of things out.
So the men don't know how to communicate.
They don't. They don't.
But they need to learn. But I'm just saying.
So sorry, but that's the truth.
He'll be fine. He'll deal with it. I'm opening to this page 86, and you talk about lack of trust. Yes. Interesting, because in the African society, an average man, there's the notion that he is polygamous by nature.
Yes.
So how do you, reconcile that when you have lack of trust, of course, because these women feel that there will always be infidelity issues. Yes. I wonder if these are some of the factors you deal with in this book.
So true. Unfortunately, there's this notion in Africa that a man can have as many women possible, forgetting the fact that, you see, we all women are, emotional animals. And in the realm of our emotions, we want a man who be committed to us. We want a man who, we can always say categorically that this is my man and all that stuff. These are some of the things that are actually plaguing, marriages. And what I've been able to do in the book is to try and ally some of those gray areas and provide a solution. Hey, man, you don't have to jump around every lady you see. Whatever you've seen in that girl reside in your woman. All you need to do is to top her up and let her have the same kind of whatever it is that you're looking out for in the other, lady out there. We just need to be committed to one another.
Real quickly as we wrap up, are in-laws the outlaws?
Interesting.
Mother-in-law.
You have the
father-in-laws. Are they the outlaws?
You have the in-laws and the outlaws. You cannot rule that out. But however, this is what I always say: wisdom. Wisdom is the key. When you see that woman as your mother, okay? If your mother is overbearing, are you going to kick her up out of the house? No. You know that that's who she is. And then you adopt, the methodology of
But when you have a manipulative mother-in-law, a manipulative mother-in-law that sets her daughter against you and her children, and your children against you.
Okay, I think you haven't been able to create enough space because how was she able to have that kind of influence to start with? Some things needs to be looked into. To be honest with you.
Because you saw her as your mother, so you gave her influence.
Yes,
but and you did it honestly.
If you,
not knowing that she was going to come back at the back.
Well, if you're sensitive, yes. We all make our mistakes, one way or the other. That could be especially for a woman, when you love a man, the tendency is there for you to be held over the heels with all his family members because, you want to also share the same heartbeat, of what you have with him, with his family.
After all.
And then maybe you are not later taken for granted at the end of the day. So you learn your lessons, but nevertheless, don't be mean.
Okay.
You don't pay back someone in the back.
After all, when you get married in Africa, you marry the family and not just the spouse.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Can this book be found everywhere?
First and
Very
foremost,
quickly.
yes. It's on Amazon. That's number one. Number two, tomorrow, which is Saturday, I'm going to be unveiling this book.
All right.
You know, and it's going to be at 4 Point Sheraton at 2 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Just make it a date.
Thank you very much for coming. We have to go. Thank you so much for watching.